14 past 1 past 10 in Western Australia. Good to talk to you. Do you like to hoard your stuff? We seem to hear a lot about people who do. They can't throw the things out. They have their own television programs now. I was having a conversation with somebody this week who is completely the other way. Just has to clear out. Can't have the clutter. So is always chucking stuff out. And I said, what have you lost over the years of either sentimental or monetary value? And he's like, I couldn't even begin to describe how many things have been accidentally thrown out. So if we're talking about hoarders, what's the opposite? Is it a chucker, I guess? I reckon it could be. In psychology terms, hardcore chuckers apparently could be suffering from obsessive compulsive, now let me see if I get this word right, Spartanism. Dr. Annabelle Charbit is a neuroscientist and author and joins us on the line from the United States. Annabelle, nice to talk to you.
Hello, thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, it's an absolute delight. Are you a chucker or a hoarder, Annabelle?
Well, I'm actually a chucker, so I can be called an obsessive compulsive Spartan.
It's kind of a cool term. Makes you think about men in loincloths charging into battle, but it's not quite like that. What is obsessive compulsive Spartanism?
Well, it's a form of OCD that's less recognized because people are very much more interested in hoarding, which is much more dramatic and disgusting, so it makes for great television. Obsessive-compulsive Spartanism is probably not as exciting, but it certainly involves a lot of the OCD behaviors, which are centered around being extremely neat and tidy, cleaning, counting. So somebody who has obsessive-compulsive Spartanism might only allow very specific quantities of all of their items in the house. You know, they might have like 2 pairs of shoes, 3 spoons, 3 forks, 3 knives, things like that. They can't help throwing things out. Often they will throw out things that are valuable, things that they'll need again, and it becomes actually as expensive and ridiculous as a compulsive shopper or hoarder, because sometimes they just have to keep rebuying stuff.
That's so
and they
interesting.
Can't help it.
And let me just break down what you were saying there, because that really caught my ear. It's not just that you won't allow clutter in the house, but you will literally not have many things in there, like knives and forks and spoons that we use every day. And you might have people round for dinner and then they come round and you've only got 2 of each, and you've only got 2 pairs of shoes because you have to throw the other ones out. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. And obviously each individual will have specific things that they absolutely can't have, and specific quantities that suit them. Some people, it might focus on clothing. Some might focus on other items in the house. There was a man who I read about who would throw out his furniture. I mean, the guy sat on the floor. So
oh dear.
It really is, obviously, as with all OCD, it's very personal to the individual. And very distressing, and crazily enough, it's a very expensive habit for some people.
I can imagine it is. You're listening to Dr. Annabelle Charbit. She's a neuroscientist and author joining us online from the US this Saturday on It's Just Not Cricket, ABC Radio, digital and online. Have you ever thrown out something of sentimental or fiscal value, whether you're a compulsive chucker or not? We're having the conversation on our Facebook page. So come and tell us what that item is that you've thrown out, that you've then torn your hair out about. We're listening to some fascinating psychology of this. Couple of questions, Annabelle. You say people are more interested in hoarding than they are in the I guess it makes, as you say, better television, better stories. Is it a similar sort of number in terms of the people who hoard versus the people who compulsively chuck?
I think the people who compulsively chuck are still in the darkness. A lot of them, including myself actually, don't even realize they have OCD until a lot later on when they really read about OCD and think, well, okay, fine, so maybe I don't clean my hands 100 times a day, and, I'm not checking the doorknob, whether it's open or shut. But then they really understand what OCD is, and they realize that they have it because they still have the intrusive thoughts, they still have the compulsive behavior, which in their case is to throw things out or to have specific numbers of things. So they don't really come to the forefront, and a lot of them go without treatment for years and years. Hoarders, on the other hand, are recognized. So if you are a hoarder and you want help, or somebody wants to make an intervention. They know exactly that you have a problem and they can try to help you. Even having said that, hoarding is now not even considered an obsessive compulsive disorder, as I believe it should not be an obsessive compulsive disorder. It's an anxiety disorder because the hoarder experiences anxiety at the idea of throwing something out, but they don't suffer from obsessions and compulsions the same way as someone with OCD does.
What do they say to you, the people who come and have a chat with you? Do they talk about the things that they've thrown out that they regret, or is there, if it's gone, it's gone for a reason?
I think most people will, yes, I mean, a lot of people will throw things out and then say, why did I throw this out? This is insane. I have to go and buy it again.
Have there been really expensive items or sentimental items?
Some people will throw out photos, which they really regret. They think, why did I do that? Some people will get rid of jewelry. They'll probably sell it very cheaply or give it away and then regret it because it was valuable. I've heard of people who throw out baby things, and then when they come to have baby number 2, they have to go and buy it all again because they just can't bring the clutter around. So that can be very expensive.
If you're an obsessive-compulsive Spartan, would you buy something just to throw it out?
No, absolutely not. Most of the time, these people are very careful even about buying things. They don't want to buy things. If you purchase something for such a person, you're actually causing them great anxiety.
How do they go in? How does it go with their relationships? Have you ever had a compulsive Spartan who actually was in love with a compulsive hoarder?
I don't think those relationships would go very far. They obviously argue. I personally have never seen the two extremes in the same house. You normally you have a hoarder and then somebody who's not happy about it, or you have an obsessive compulsive Spartan who's trying their very best just to live with somebody who is normal. But the two together, that could be really interesting.
Sparks could fly, could they not? You mentioned that you suffer a little bit of this yourself, Annabelle. What's the number one thing you've thrown out that you've gone, oh no?
Oh, I totally edit my clothes. So if I'm bringing something in, something has to go out. And that has always been something I've had. I edit other things in the house. In fact, the book I wrote, A Life Lived Ridiculously, is actually about obsessive compulsive Spartanism. And I drew a lot from my own experience, and particularly in my case, it's to do with household items, decorative items, and clothing.
Oh, you're very good. Can you come and speak to my wife about that? I think I'll be kicked out of the house before the clothes will be. Annabelle, this is such an interesting area. It's not getting, in your view, the recognition in the psychiatric world that you think it should?
Exactly, because the person will suffer in silence. And the thing about OCD is that it can be so terribly embarrassing and time-consuming to have a thought that goes round and round and round in your head. And for a lot of people who suffer from textbook symptoms, if they're washing their hands and constantly thinking their hands are dirty, they know that everybody understands what they're going through because it's been talked about and read about to death. But somebody who's going, oh, good Lord, I don't know if I should have all these things in my house and how many pairs of shoes should I have, they might feel so isolated. They can't get the thought out of their head like an annoying song, but they don't realize they're ill. And I really think that it should get more recognition. And in general, OCD should be acknowledged that the textbook symptoms are not the only symptoms.
If somebody's listening right now, they like a clean house, they like to keep the clutter free, what are the signs that they should be aware of that takes it from across the line, if you like?
Well, first of all, you have the obsession portion, which is the thoughts that are intrusive and persistent and constantly occur even against your will. You can't stop them. You then have the compulsions that would be the behaviors that are designed to calm the thoughts. So again, it doesn't matter what the thought is, doesn't matter what the compulsion is. If the thought is constant and the compulsion is followed by it, and the result is a temporary relief followed by more anxiety, then you have OCD.
Annabelle, this is a fascinating area and you describe it really well. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Neuroscientist and author Annabelle Charbit on the line from the US there. Have you ever come across this? Obsessive Compulsive Spartanism. Very cool name. We hear a lot about hoarders. not a lot about chuckers. Joining the conversation on our Facebook page. What is that one thing that you've thrown out that you most regret?